about to read some boo crap. Here it goes. No, the FCC isn't overturning net neutrality. Set aside the chicken little fears about the internet dying. The left is in a veritable state of hysteria as the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, moves to vote on Chairman Pi's deregulatory Restoring Internet Freedom, or RAF, order on December 14th. It's gotten so bad that incensed supporters of so-called net neutrality have taken to harassing commissioners' children and even threatening to kill a congressman. It's a nasty state of affairs, and it's one, unfortunately, driven by a lot of false rhetoric and outright fear-mongering over how policy is actually changing, telling people that a policy will end the internet or kill the internet, can agitate troubled people into doing crazy things. In truth, Obama administration era open internet order, or OIO, that the FCC is overturning has little to do with net neutrality. Well, they need to do their grammar better. At all. In fact, the OIO will still allow internet service providers to block content, to say nothing of many non-ISP tech companies that can do openly suppress access to content. Wow. Even this goat is saying, what the freak? Furthermore, repealing the OIO does not mean that the principles of net neutrality will be upheld, nor that ISPs will be underregulated. Rather, the RAF will rightly transfer oversight of ISPs to other regulatory bodies in an ex post fashion, whatever that means. The OIO allows all kinds of content filtering. Oh Lord, here we go. Brace yourselves and buckle your seatbelts in and keep your seat backs and tray tables in their upright locked positions. Here we go. One of the biggest misconceptions of the OIO saga is that it achieved net neutrality. It didn't. While proponents like to spin a lot of rhetoric about treating all traffic equally, the actual implementation of the Obama administration's regulations did nothing of the sort. As my Mercactus Center colleague Brent Scorp has tirelessly pointed out, the OIO did not require all internet actors, ranging from ISPs to content platforms to domain name registrars and everything else, to be content blind and treat all traffic the same. Rather, it erected an awkward permission and control regimen within the FCC that only affected a small portion of internet technology companies. Really? Not even ISPs would be truly content neutral under the OIO. Because of First Amendment concerns, the FCC could not legally prohibit ISPs from engaging in editorial curation. The U.S. Court of Appeals made this very clear in its 2016 decision upholding the OIO. ISPs that explicitly offer edited services to its customers would be virtually free from OIO obligations. Oh, God. Shaking my head. It's a huge loophole, and it massively undercuts any OIO proponents' claims that are supporting net neutrality. Yeah, well, you know what you're going to be doing. Let's just say that. But importantly, the OIO is still allowed the vast majority of internet companies to filter and block away to their heart's content. Indeed, one could argue that content aggressors and search engines like Facebook and Google have proven to be much draconian in their censorship of controversial but legal content than the ISPs over which so may agonize. Consider the recent incident where Twitter decided to block the political speech of a pro-life American politician. Most people are far more worried that social media companies will block their content rather than Comcast or Verizon. That's BS, and we all know it. SCC Chairman Ajit Pi. God, so much I want to say about that guy, but yeah, it's language I don't want to use. Made this very point last week at an R Street Institute event on the repeal. Major edge service providers like Google, Facebook, Reddit, and Twitter have made their opposition to OIO deregulation loud and clear to their user base. Some have displayed automatic messages on their front pages, urging visitors to take action and encourage others to do the same. Yet, at the same time, these services engage in kinds of content blocking that they say broadband providers could possibly do. It's something they will do. The hypocrisy is relevant for more than just ideological inconsistency. It's about economic power. By encouraging harsh regulation of ISPs that effectively controls the rates that major tech companies can be charged for bandwidth, these companies are engaging in a kind of regulatory capture. It should be noted that some division within these firms, Google, Eric Schmidt, for instance, famously discouraged the Obama administration from pursuing these regulations in 2014. Not only is it unfair, but it is absolutely disingenuous to those user bases that they have so inflamed with their rhetoric. These companies are not talking principled stands at all. They are trying to use the force of the state to improve their economic outlook. In Pi's words, they might cloak their advocacy in the public interest, but the real interest of these internet giants is in using the regulatory process to cement their dominance in the internet economy. Regulators will still go after bad actors. Hold on to your bootstraps, we're going in. The second biggest misconception about the OIO repeal is that consumers will simply be at the mercy of unscrupulous broadband service providers without recourse or protection. This has never been true and will not be true under the RAF either. Spoke Schneik and we know it. OIO supporters imagine a world where ISPs slice and dice internet access into tiered packages, similar to cable subscriptions. This misleading image is a popular one. It shows a hypothetical broadband package where consumers are forced to pay $10 for a Hollywood package including YouTube and Hulu, and a $5 playground offering access to Steam and World of Warcraft. Of course, no ISP has ever come close to proposing anything like this arrangement. But this scenario has curiously lodged itself as a chief anxiety of many net neutrality supporters. Just bear with me, yo. This is all bullcrap. Recently, this hypothetical fear metastasized, however you freaking pronounce that word, into a seemingly real threat. None other than Tim Wu himself, the brains behind the concept of net neutrality, shared a scary story about the dystopian world of Portuguese broadband provision, where ISPs had seemingly started to act more like cable companies. An image shared by Silicon Valley Congressman Ro Khanna seemed to confirm this worst-case scenario, sharing an image of a breakdown of Portuguese telecom packages by category. But there was a huge problem with this story, as an excellent post by Ben Thompson pointed out. That Portuguese telecom provider was not slicing and dicing the net for no reason, but rather was an offer for an extra 10 gigabytes of access to a collection of apps on top of the existing family data plan for €25 a month, or about $30. There are examples from the US too. In 2010, then tiny Metro PCS began offering zero-rated or discontinued access to YouTube content to be competitive. But net neutrality activists went berserk over this benefit to Metro PCS customers, putting this and similar services in legal jeopardy. Consumers like these kinds of plans because they can be cheaper than all-inclusive data packages while giving them access to services that they really need. This is brainwashing at its finest. These kinds of unhelpful hoaxes underscore the fears that net neutrality rhetoric has instilled into the public, sometimes, as in the case with Portuguese example. Okay, plane, I'm trying to record here. An alleged violation is actually a valued and voluntary option for many consumers. But in general, people believe that the OIO repeal will usher in a world where ISPs can do whatever they want without having to answer to anyone. Of course, this was not true before the OIO was instituted in 2015, and it will be even less true under the RAF. The debate has been over regulation versus no regulation of ISPs. Rather, it's a question of whether it is more appropriate for an oversight body to observe market activities and intervene when foul play is suspected, called ex post regulation, or whether a beefed up precautionary regulator should be preemptively, I don't even know how to pronounce that, prohibit new service innovations until private bodies can prove them to be in the public interest, known as ex ante regulation. Really hope I said that right. A lot of jump cuts in this, I'm sorry. I just keep screwing up in my speech. The latter approach obviously stems new innovation and investment considerably. And in fact, a study from the Phoenix Center found that broadband investment was choked at the tune of some $30 billion each year due to the OIO. Furthermore, introducing a Soviet-style ex-post regulator into the mix creates opportunities for regulatory capture and corruption. God, this is brainwashing at its finest. The RIF will provide a more robust regulatory framework than one that preceded the OIO. It will transfer oversight of ISPs to the Federal Trade Commission, which has decades of experience ensuring consumer protection, privacy, and security. It will return to transparency rules established by the FCC in 2010, which would require broadband providers to disclose their network management practices, thereby cutting down on the potential for sneaky behavior. And most importantly, it would achieve these neutral network goals without erecting a Depression-era system of permission and control that is both costly and susceptible to corruption. The OIO allowed content filtering anyway. The RIF is a far better way to promote a fair and innovative internet that does not bring the many costs of the OIO. Keep calm and binge on. Oh my God, they're calling us fat. People who maintain that the sky will fall and the internet will forever change for the worst after the FCC votes to ratify the RIF later this month are either misinformed or unfortunately opportunistic. More oversight of the ISPs from a permissioned ex-ante regulation regimen to a permissionless ex-post one not only makes plain sense, it is in the kind of framework that allowed the internet to develop into the powerhouse of innovation that we enjoy today. The internet is important in our lives, but a brief examination of facts show no such threat. And in fact, the RIF is what can actually preserve the internet that we all know and love. Basically, what I just read to you, that is brainwashing at its finest. And I'm going to tell you what, people that have read that, I really hope you didn't believe it. Because it's all bullcrap, basically. It is. So, I will see you guys in my next video. Peace. Ouch. And roll the end card. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to me. Don't forget to check out Twitter and Facebook. All the links are down in the description. Peace to 5143J out.